There's a low language in the evening that doesn't need words to be said. A warmth in the quiet receiving of everything left instead. Low language felt not heard, below the reach of any word. Low language, warm and clear. The language only felt from near. Low language, deep and wide. The language of the inside. I've learned to speak in low language, in the warmth of close and still, in the barely there and manage of the quiet against my will. Low language felt not heard, below the reach of any word. Low language, warm and clear. The language only felt from near. Low language, deep and wide. The language of the inside. Speaking low language, being understood anyway. That's the best kind of communication. The city breathes the night differently than in the frantic rush of day. It exhales more slowly, more intently, and finally has something true to say. City breath, slow and wide, the exhale of the other side. City breath, warm and real, the only version of the deal. I've started sinking to its breathing, to the city's nighttime lung. It's slow inhale and slow releasing of everything that they had wrung. City breath, slow and wide, the exhale of the other side. City breath, warm and real, the only version of the deal. Breathe with the city, let it set the pace. The city knows how to use the space between the sounds. Breathing with the city, in its own good time. You leave a carbon memory on me, like a handprint pressed in soft material. Something that will outlast the debris of everything more immaterial. Carbon memory, deep impression, deeper than the surface of expression. Carbon memory, yours and mine, pressed into the timeline. I carry your carbon memory now, in places I can't fully reach. Not sure of the exact when or how, just sure it's further than I teach. Carbon memory, deep impression, deeper than the surface of expression. Carbon memory, yours and mine, pressed into the timeline. Carbon memories don't erase, they just become part of the material. The structure you can't quite trace, but know it integral. Pressed in deep, part of the structure now, not going anywhere. The patient dark waits every evening for me to finally arrive, without judging or deceiving, just glad to find me still alive. The patient dark, always here, never asking, never fear. The patient dark, warm and wide, everything I need inside. It never rushes me to sleep, or asks me why I'm still awake. The patient dark agrees to keep whatever of me I can make. The patient dark, always here, never asking, never fear. The patient dark, warm and wide, everything I need inside. The dark is more patient than anything, more patient than daylight, more patient than people, smoke meets something like a star. Not quite beautiful, not quite pretty, just the sky for what and who we are. Carbon blue, that middle shade between the night and what we've made. Carbon blue, neither dark nor light, the color of an ordinary night. Carbon blue, this is where I live, and everything I take and give. I've made my peace with in between, with the colors that don't have a name, with all the shades that go unseen, between the different and the same. Carbon blue, that middle shade between the night and what we've made. Carbon blue, neither dark nor light, the color of an ordinary night. Carbon blue, this is where I live, and everything I take and give. Carbon blue, right here in the middle, that's where I belong. There's a gravity low in the evening that pulls me toward the ground. Not falling, just receiving the weight of all around. Gravity low, pulling down into the softest part of town. Gravity low, warm and deep, the weight that holds me here in sleep. Gravity low, I give in to the pull that lifts My memory works like morning fog. It covers everything in soft. I reach for something sharp and clear and find it muted, find it lost. Fog memory, softer than the truth. The gentler version of my youth. Fog memory, warm and thin, protecting me from deep within. Fog memory, kind and wide, blurring out the sharpest side. I used to fight the softening, the way things blur at the edges. Now I let the fog come in and rest inside its gentle pledges. Fog memory, softer than the truth. The gentler version of my youth. Fog memory, warm and thin, protecting me from deep within. Fog memory, kind and white, blurring out the sharpest side. Let it blur. Some things are kinder soft. I leave my bandwidth open at night. No filtering, no blocking out. Just receptive to whatever slide. Signal makes its quiet shout. Open bandwidth, receive it all. Everything that comes to call. Open bandwidth, wide and clear. There's an empty frequency in the evening, a gap between the noise and rest, where nothing broadcasts, nothing leaving, just the silence doing its best. Empty frequency, space to breathe, everything the quiet can bequeath. Empty frequency, open wide, nothing filling up the inside. Empty frequency, clear and clean, the purest space I've ever been. I used to fill it out of habit, with noise and task and endless scroll. Now I let it be a quiet rabbit hole that leads back to my soul. Empty frequency, space to breathe, everything the quiet can bequeath. Empty frequency, open wide, nothing filling up the inside. Empty frequency, clear and clean, the purest space I've ever been. Empty, beautifully empty. I come to settle my night debt in the quiet of the late hour. Everything I haven't dealt with yet, everything beyond my power. Night debt, what I owe the dark for the shelter of its quiet mark. Night debt, settling slow, paying back what the dark bestows. Night debt, soft and clear in the honest dark, I'm not so feared. Dead is always manageable in the late and quiet black. Nothing here is unmanageable when you lay flat on your back. Night debt, what I owe the dark for the shelter of its quiet mark. Night debt, settling slow, paying back what the dark bestows. Night debt, soft and clear in the honest dark, I'm not so feared. Debt settled for tonight. eyes on the low horizon, not the peaks that others climb. The line where earth and sky keep rising slowly in their own good time. Low horizon, mind to see everything that's going to be. Low horizon, wide and real, more than any peak could feel. Low horizon, soft and far, finding where we truly are. The summit has its drama, its achievement and its view. But the low horizon has the calmer patience of the long and true. Low horizon, mind to see everything that's going to be. Low horizon, wide and real, more than any peak could feel. Low horizon, soft and far, finding where we truly are. Keeping my eyes on the low horizon, that's where the real things are. Fog season comes without an announcement, just a morning softer than the last, a gradual obscuring pronouncement that winter's put in summer past. Fog season, soft and gray, making everything unclear today. Fog season, hold it close, the obscured is what I love the most. I've learned to navigate the fog, evening finds its balance slowly between the done and the undone. Something quiet, something holy in the settling of the sun. Evening balance, soft and found. Everything returning to the ground. Evening balance, warm and true. Everything the evening knew. I've stopped fighting the imbalance of days that tip too far one way. The evening always finds its balance and levels out before next day. Evening balance, soft and found. Everything returning to the ground. Evening balance, warm and true. Everything the evening knew. The balance comes on its own if you stop trying to force it. If you let the evening do what evenings have always known to do. Balance now. The evening found it. Always does. The copper light of late October falls through my window differently. The year is getting slowly older and so much gentler. Am I copper light, warm and warm, golden like a thing reborn? Copper light, late and low, the most beautiful of the globe. I started chasing copper seasons, the late light of the aging year. Not for the obvious reasons, but for what the copper makes feel clear. Copper light, warm and warm, golden like a thing reborn. Copper light, late and low, the most beautiful of the globe. going slow. Been holding my breath for something, not sure what the something is. A change, a word, a quiet becoming, or just the end of all of this. The held breath, waiting still, something gathering its will. The held breath, suspended time, everything paused before its prime. The held breath, mine alone. Quiet before the known. There's a moment just before exhale, when everything is possible and held, when the world could dip in any tale, when nothing yet has been compelled. The held breath, waiting still, something gathering its will. The held breath, suspended time, everything paused before its prime. The held breath, mine alone. Quiet before the known. Still holding, almost ready to let go. Almost. I've been running on borrowed warmth, on the heat that others left behind. In the rooms that knew a different worth, in the moments left by those more kind. Borrowed warmth, still enough to get through all the cold and rough. Borrowed warmth, real and true, even when it comes from you. those who left it for you here. The warmth that gets you through the night doesn't have to be originally clear. Borrowed warmth, still enough to get through all the cold and rough. Borrowed warmth, real and true, even when it comes from you. Still warm, even borrowed. Still light, even reflected. Some warmth is better than none at all. Still warm on borrowed heat, and that's okay. That's more than okay. I'm not the moon, but I live adjacent to something bright I can't explain. Not the source, but something patient in the orbit of its pale refrain. Moon adjacent, close but not orbiting what others forgot. Moon adjacent, quiet pull, never empty, never full. I've made my peace with proximity to things I'll never quite become. The reflected light of all I see is light enough for what I'm from. Moon adjacent, close but not orbiting what others forgot. Moon adjacent, quiet pull, never empty, never full. Adjacent is not second. Adjacent is just different. The light reaches you differently here, but it still reaches you. Moon adjacent, still lit, still turning. I know the slow geography of this apartment after dark. The creak of floorboards telling me which way to move without a mark. Slow geography known by heart. is overrated. The in-between is where it lives. The between stations, underrated, is where the honest moment gives. Still between. Still in the time. The open sky and all its height, but something warm and sheltered instead. Low canopy, close and kind. A ceiling for the restless mind. Low canopy, hold me near. Something warm when I am here. Low canopy, soft and white. Something above to step inside. The open sky has its own beauty, its vastness and its endless reach. But tonight my heart requires duty to something closer, something each. Low canopy, close and kind. A ceiling for the restless mind. Low canopy, hold me near. Something warm when I am here. Low canopy, soft and white. Something above to step inside. Just close enough, just sheltered enough. That's all I need tonight. I dissolve slowly into evening, like something solid finding liquid form. Not disappearing, just releasing the edges that protected from the storm. So dissolve, let the edges go into the warm bed. been swimming for a long time against currents I didn't choose, and the shore that I am reaching is the quiet I can't lose. Quiet shore, I'm almost there, just a little more to bear. Quiet shore, soft and wide, somewhere finally to reside. Not paradise, not perfect, just a place to stop the swimming, to find the ground beneath the surface before the next beginning. Quiet shore, I'm almost there, just a little more to bear. Quiet shore, soft and wide, somewhere finally to reside. The shore doesn't judge how long you took to swim, it just receives you quietly, completely. Almost there, almost to the quiet shore. Just a little more. The low window shows a different city than the one the high floors know. More detail, more ordinary beauty, more of the actual below. Low window, this is mine. Ground level, human design. Low window, close and real. The city at the scale of feel. I've lived at every height in cities and learned I always come back down. The low window holds the gritties and the gentler parts of town. Low window, this is mine. Ground level, human design. Low window, close and real. The city at the scale of feel. Look through. Low window. Everything is closer here. The faces, the rain on pavement, the scale of what is deep. through the low window. Everything I need to see. Right there. I take my night inventory slow, counting what I kept and what I lost, not judging where I chose to go, just noting what each moment cost. Night inventory, piece by piece, finding what deserves release. Night inventory, soft review, keeping only what stays true. Tonight I'm keeping the small warmth of someone's laugh I almost forgot. The moment when the rain turned north and everything was what it's not. Night inventory, piece by piece, finding what deserves release. Night inventory, soft review, keeping only what stays true. This is not a purge. This is not accounting. This is just the quiet work of knowing what I'm carrying, still taking stock, finding more than I expected. That's enough for tonight. These hours feel like glass tonight, transparent, thin, and easy to break. I move through them with careful light and take from them what I can take. Glass hours, handle with care. Something precious in the air. Glass hours. What once felt distant feels more holy. What once seemed wild feels arranged. The slow reveal, patience made real. Everything in its own time to feel. The slow reveal, soft and long, takes the whole night to become a song. I've learned to wait for the slow showing of what was always underneath. The quiet understanding growing of everything beneath the sheath. The slow reveal, patience made real. Everything in its own time to feel. The slow reveal, soft and long, takes the whole night to become a song. Don't rush the revealing, let it come as it comes. Some truths need the full night to find their way home. Still revealing, still becoming clear, worth waiting for. At the end of the difficult days, I return to the simple fact. Still breathing through the haze, still here, still mostly intact. Still breathing, that's enough for tonight and all its rough. Still breathing, still and real, the minimum I take the slow approach to everything, the long way around the obvious, to find whatever quietly it brings, and the considered, not the frivolous. Slow approach, take your time, everything will become fine. The slow approach, measured and calm, like a hand extended without harm. The slow approach, patient and wide, coming from the quieter inside. Not hesitation, not fear, just the belief that slow is more, that what arrives with care is clear and worth the time before. The slow approach, take your time, everything will become fine. The slow approach, measured and calm, like a hand extended without harm. The slow approach, patient and wide, coming from the quieter inside, taking it slow. No need to rush toward anything, it'll be there. The asphalt holds the heat of day, long after everything has cooled. I press my palm against the gray and feel the warmth the sun has pooled. Asphalt hours, warm beneath the residue of everything. Asphalt hours, city heat, the warmth beneath the tired feet. Asphalt hours, dark and white, the city breathing deep inside. There's something honest in the pavement, and its refusal to forget the weight of every passing statement, every footstep, every debt. Asphalt hours, warm beneath the residue of everything. Asphalt hours, evening comes, when the last task of the day is done, when the jaw relaxes, when the drums of urgency have finally run. Slow unclench, feel the release. Everything returning to its peace. Slow unclench, jaw and chest, finally allowed to rest. Slow unclench, shoulder drop. Everything is allowed to stop. I didn't know how tight I'd been until the evening let me go. The body releasing what had been held since morning's early show. Slow unclench, feel the release. Everything returning to its peace. Slow unclench, jaw and chest, finally allowed to rest. Slow unclench, shoulder drop. Everything is allowed to stop. Unclenching, finally unclenching. There it is. Life keeps resolving to a minor chord. Not tragic, just unfinished, slightly raw. Not what the melody was working toward, but beautiful in its own minor flaw. Minor chord, soft and unresolved. A question the music never solved. Minor chord, this is where I stay, in the tension between night and day. I used to want the major resolution, the bright, conclusive final note. Now I live inside the dissolution of everything that stays in the throat. Minor chord, soft and unresolved. A question the music never solved. Minor chord, this is where I stay, in the tension between night and day. Minor is not lesser. Minor is just honest about the beautiful incompleteness. being.